Hi everyone. Haven't seen my face in a while. I am on here today because we are going to talk about a little bit about quilting storage. How many of you, and I just realized I'm wearing my shirt inside out. Whoops. It's okay, I'm off today. I'll leave it like that. How many of you own a cart that is like this? So I bought one of those carts last year, Black Friday. Everybody was raving about them. Everybody has one. So I thought, oh, this is for me. I'll be able to store a lot of stuff in it. And I'll sit it next to my sewing table and it'll be my go-to work area. And it just became a dumping ground. I did not take a picture before and after, but let me tell you, the top, I assembled it how it was supposed to be assembled, and the top of it just, because it was a nice bin, and everything just kept getting thrown in there, and every time I needed to get something, I'd have to dig. It didn't work for me. So, I've been brainstorming on it. I just left it alone, basically because it was a dumping ground. I just left everything there. It became the no-touch zone where it was stuff that I had that I didn't use, maybe once. And then a thought occurred to me mid-year. I'm like, what if I saw something on Pinterest? I think I saw this photo with the ironing board on top. And I was like, that is a cool accessory, but I'm not going to buy it. How can I just have the top of this perfect for me for ironing? A little block. Sounds logical. So I took the basket off and removed all the basket contents, and then I flipped my basket upside down so that it's a flat surface, and it's still like that. So it has expanded metal, and expanded metal is already what an ironing board is made out of. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do for the ironing portion? Do I get a board and cover it? I could, but then I really wouldn't need this because then I could just use it on my desk. So I decided to take my mat and cut it down. Yes, this is the leftover piece of my mat. Rotary cutter cut this perfectly, and it was the perfect width from here to here, but I did have to trim it down long ways, so I had to trim down the side, and this is what was left over, and I used that and it worked for me very well. However, because this is sitting next to the couch and next to my workstation, people started setting their glasses on it, on my mat, and they've set food on it, and they freaking ruined my stupid mat. So this became a great solution if I had my own studio. But because I'm having to share my sewing space with everyone, it just didn't work for me anymore. And then, 6 months simmered, and I decided, okay, I'm taking everything off this cart. I'm going to go ahead and do a purge. And so I went through my fabric, and I've got about 3 grocery sacks of fabric I'm going to give away. And that will go to my local guild chapter. And I'm like, how am I going to use this? Well, last year I had a great year of finishing up a bunch of UFOs. And so I had a bunch of bins that I emptied. And I was like, that fits perfect on there. I already had this turned upside down. What if I go ahead and I just stack out my bins here? And here's a picture of all my bins. It freed up a bunch of space on my shelf to where I could put bolt fabric. It also allowed me to realize, okay, I did have a few empty bins because I had worked so much. So some of the stuff that came off the cart, ended up going into a bin. This is great because I don't have to totally rearrange my sewing room to get to something. It's handy dandy. All, you know, I keep my projects in here, which is pretty handy, but then it's all right here. This is basically my UFOs and my works in progress, and like this bin is my half square triangle trimmings that I'm keeping. So this is really working great for me. I completely removed, I don't know if you can see this. Let me get the other camera. So I completely removed the middle shelf, which I'm currently using for my video. And because I removed the middle shelf, I have the capability to use this still as my ironing station, where I can put my mat on it and still make it work for my ironing station at my table, on my table. Nobody messes with my table, so my mat's safe there. That's working very well, very well. So how many of you own one of these? I went on Pinterest and I just did a search, and you could do this. They have all kinds of accessories that if you have your basket turned the other way, you can hang stuff off the side where you can put your wonder clips, your scissors, just all the tchotchke stuff that you have on your desk to get it off your desk. They have pegboard for the sides, so you would run these screws, you would take the baskets off, put your pegboard up, and then you can hang stuff like your rulers and stuff. And here's some pictures I'm going to show. That's why I'm kind of sitting off to the side. You can do so many things with these, and I didn't know they even had accessories because I didn't, you know, I'm not a shopper. I know what I want, I get it, and I'm done. They have all kinds of accessories for these. I don't know if any of you, these work for you. I know Pat Sloan has one and it works for her, but looking at it, hers looks like a dumping ground too. Her top part looks like it's what she uses, and the rest of it just ends up being storage and a dumping ground. I don't know. She's never really said. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not trying to talk bad about anybody. But I have a couple storage options. I keep fabric in the bedroom on a great big wire rack, and it contains my bulk fabric, and then I've got two tubs of fabric, one that are great big pieces of fabric. Lots of that stuff is what people have given me. Yeah, people are out there. They're really nice. They give you fabric. I'm probably going to purge a bunch of that. But my main bin is on the bottom. I go ahead and I leave the lid off because we're doing this quilt along, and I'll put a link below if you're interested in making any of these blocks. You can certainly have access to them. They're free patterns, and they are on my blog, and I'll go ahead and put a link in the description box below for that. I'm finding what works for me is if I have a brand new fat quarter, I have a fat quarter drawer. It's a very small drawer. If I see something in the fat quarter drawer that I can use for any of my projects, I go ahead and get it out. I iron it. I go ahead and trim off a strip of whatever size I need. And then I turn around. I don't put the fat quarter back in that drawer because it's no longer a fat quarter. And I have this baggie system that I sort all of my fabrics by color, and then I put them in a Ziploc bag. And regardless of the size of fabric, it could be less than a yard of fabric that I've kind of cut a notch out of. It can be a 10-inch square that I've cut some off. It can be something that's just real small. I'm finding that system works for me because I can look in my bin, look in my tote, say, oh, I need black, grab out my bag of black, kind of file through my bag. Oh yeah, that's what I want. Take it out, drop my bag back in, and I haven't made a huge mess. Sometimes when we fold fabric and make it nice and neat, it's very, very disturbing to go through our stash and then mess that up after all the hard work we've put into it. I do have yardage folded and lined in a dresser to where it's kind of filed, and it's by no color or anything. I just have it all folded in the dresser, and that works for me as well. But I'm finding that this, why didn't I think of this before? This is perfect size. So, will they slide on there? Yes. My bottom shelf is actually still cupped where you can put stuff in it. The worst case scenario on this is if you're pushing or pulling this, your bins may slide and tumble, but that's not a big deal unless, like that, I just pulled on it and it tumbled. But I've got actually another bin under that that has scraps in it that is keeping it elevated to where if that happens, everything's not going to fall off. So, did you find this video useful? Do you use one of these utility carts? I'd love to hear about your utility cart experience in the comments below. I wanted to get this video out sooner, but it just didn't happen. I have been slaving away on these blocks, and I've got 3 or 4 more blocks cut out ready to video, but I've just ran out of time on my vacation. I'm going to try from now on to put a video up a week, and maybe if I'm off an extra day or 2, maybe I'll get 2 videos out that week. Just have to wait and see. What are your quilt goals for this year? I would also like to hear about that. A lot of you are doing temperature quilts, which that's fantastic. I've always wanted to do one of those, but I just didn't think I had the due diligence to continue with it. It may be that I make one for my children, and this is just an idea. One day, not this year. Maybe take their birth date or in the time that I was pregnant with them and do a temperature quilt of what it was like in the womb for, or the year they were born. Maybe do a temperature quilt for like myself back in 1970, whatever, and go back, because all that data is out there and you can go look it up, and then have your squares or know exactly what colors you're going to be having to where you can just sew it all at once. You could do that. So what are my goals? For the channel, I've just kind of been willy-nilly. And I don't know, is it working? Yes. But I have so many things that I want to do and just not enough time. There is one project at the long arm that I'm so excited to do. As soon as it warms up, you will get to see a glimpse of that. And just because I'm doing it at the long arm does not mean you can't do it on a regular sewing machine. I'm just doing it like that because I have the space for it like that. It is a major scrap project, and you will use a ton of scraps, and you will be so happy. I've been saving my scraps for years now, and I have a string collection, and then I have a 2-inch shoebox full of squares. I have a 1.5-inch box full of squares. I have a 2.5-inch storage container of squares to where if I get a squirrel moment, I have access to all this fabric. It's already been cut. And how does it already get cut? A lot of these use 2.5-inch strips, and whatever I have left over, I go ahead and I just cut it up. It's already a 2.5-inch strip. I just go ahead and cut it up into squares, drop it in my bin. It's very efficient. Does it happen that way every time? No, because I live in the real world. But I do want to get some of my UFOs done. I had planned to film a tote bag video, and it's not going to happen. I'm hoping that on a quiet weekend I'll be able to get that done, and that's kind of like a clothesline bag. Any of you who have made a container using the clothesline, I have a different spin on that by upcycling denim. And I have made a purse, and I get compliments on the purse every time I use it. And I'm wanting a different shape of purse. This one became a bucket purse and a dumping ground. But it worked very well for me, and it was very weighted to where it was very durable and sturdy. I didn't have to worry about getting dirty or anything. I have that in the works, and I don't know when I'll get to it though. And of course I have all my UFOs, which I have dwindled. I think I only have like 4 now. One I started, I don't know how many years ago. I think I bought the kit in 2018. It's right here. It's a Be Colorful Catherine DeJong circular flying geese pattern. I've got the majority of the work done to it, but I just had too many squirrels of going this way and that way. A lot of these bins are now empty. I have my cathedral window. This is a free pattern put out by Lo and Behold Stitchery, doing the cathedral window method. I have that. I hope that that'll be my first project I work on after this. I probably need to cut more squares. As I'm going and using my fabrics, I'm also cutting 3.5-inch squares to utilize in that quilt. So I'm kind of double dutying it. What are my other plans? You never know. I want to sit down and make a plan, but because I have young children and I share this house with others, I can't really plan. So whatever my content is what you get. I know that I posed a poll question as, do you like to see things at the long arm? Do you like to see things at the block level? A lot of you voted that you like to have the block patterns, and I'm doing my very best, and I'm very imperfect at that. I'm very limited in software. I'm not going to go out and buy a huge package of Adobe software because, first of all, we don't do Adobe in the house. It's just a huge software package that takes up a bunch of space on your device. But I have figured out the PDF thing, and no, you don't have to use Adobe. I have made a list on my blog. I'll go ahead and I'll link that below for my goals for 2024. I had 3 quilts to bind in that. I've finished one. I started another one yesterday, and so I'll have a finish right off the bat this year. My 3rd quilt is just a wall hanging, and I'd be able to do that and whip that up quick. So I've kind of put that one on the back burner. What else? This past year I was in a mini quilt swap. That was a blast. I would love to do a fabric swap. So in the Missouri forums, we used to do fabric swaps where we would have one lady chair it, where she would be responsible for receiving in all the fabric. So basically what it would consist of is everyone would, we'd decide on a theme. So it could be color, it could be polka dots, it could be I don't know, florals. We did a vintage sheet swap. That was fun. What we would do is either, normally we would take yardage of fabric in our stash that met the requirements. It wasn't flannel. It was quilt quality fabric. And we had enough of it. And depending on the participation, it'd be about maybe 20 people. And we would take that yardage and we would cut it up into 10-inch squares. And then we'd individually bag each square and put who it came from. And we would probably fold it up to where we would fold it up into like a 5-inch size piece of fabric. And we would fold it up, and then we'd send them all to the lady, and her name was Priscilla. And then also what we would send is we would send a self-addressed stamped envelope mailer that we have already paid postage on and already got a tracking number and did it ourselves. But we would send that in the package to her. And then what she would do is she'd line up all of our envelopes, and she would take out my fabrics that are all individually bagged, and she'd just drop them in each one of the envelope mailers. And for every person that sent in fabric, she would do that. And then if we had 20 participating and we decide, okay, only 20 is participating, we're going to have 2 fabrics, or we're going to have, you can do the same fabric, then we would have a layer cake for the cost of shipping, which was $20. $10 to get there and $10 to get back. That was genius. Now fabric costs more, so does postal service. So this was a while ago. That was so much fun. I'd love to do that. I don't know if I'll have the time. If you're interested in a fabric swap like that, comment below. I think that managing that from YouTube would be a little chaotic, and I don't have the means to manage it. I don't think that would work. But it was so much fun, and I made a full quilt, and I'll go ahead and put that right here. So I made a great big king size quilt out of the fabrics that I got in that swap. I think we did oranges and yellows, and I ended up with 40 different fabric 10-inch squares. And they were all different. And it was neat that I made that quilt with those colors, and I added red to it. And it was amazing. And I've also done that with polka dot. We had a polka dot swap. And I'm not sure if I've got a picture of that. If I do, I'll put it right here. That was early on in my quilting career. And all the fabrics in that quilt was a tumbler quilt, and it was all polka dots. And they could have been tiny polka dots. They could have been big polka dots. They could have been really big polka dots. All different colors. Background, could be blue with white polka dots, or it could be multicolored polka dots on white. That was really fun. That was a neat swap. I would love to do that. I don't know if I'll have time for that, though. What else? Let's see. So for those of you who are attempting any of these blocks, how are you doing? I am struggling with this. I am struggling on it on 2 different levels. The first level is trying to push the content to you to get it to where it's easy for you to put together. Because, let's face it, that block was hard. It was hard. This block was not hard. It just, these half square triangles are the size of the tip of my finger, so it's a lot of work. It's quite a challenge, and I need to be challenged. I'm hoping that you're finding it a challenge, but you're not discouraged by it. I may, as things go, I may substitute and put in a bonus block here or there. I might do that, yeah. To where instead of doing something hard like this one or up at the top, you can't hardly see it, but that one right there, that drunkard's path, that one was murder. Perhaps I would just do a large HST or something in its place and maybe do a bonus block and maybe do 5 or 6 of those to where if you come up on it, you don't have success with it, you have something to fall back on 5 different times. I don't know. It's an idea. And those probably would not be YouTube videos. Those bonus blocks would probably just be on the blog. So, let's see. Have I forgotten anything? I've gotten oodles of pattern. I've ordered oodles of fabric. So, the fabric diet for 2023. I'm not ashamed to say that I did buy fabric. Did I buy as much fabric as I had been buying? No. I have pretty much stuck to the diet except for what I needed. If I finished a quilt and needed a backing, I bought it. Did I buy any fabric for the front of the quilt? No. Did I buy some bolts of fabric? Yes, I did. Those large pieces of fabric helped me out immensely. I'm hoping this year I'm going to come way back on spending for fabric again because it worked very well for me in 2023. Only buy what I need, stick to the plan. Just because it's, oh, pretty fabric, I don't have to buy it. I can pass and I'm not missing out on anything. It's just fabric. Let's see what else. I don't know. Did you like this idea of this video? I'm hoping you did. I guess that's all. And I'm hoping that my content that I'm pushing out reaches you and you like it. And I don't show enough of my face on camera, and it's just because I have other people in the house. I have to do all my filming early in the morning. Part of my filming devices are in the garage, so I would have to go down there, get all my equipment, move it here. So I'm just keeping it simple for now. I would like to get on my face on camera more because I think YouTube pushes that content more. And I apologize for my long video. I know some of you have commented, I don't like watching videos like this. This is how I have to do it on this video. I've been watching my P's and Q's and doing better on my other videos. But on this one, I needed the long version so you could see me and see this. So if I turned you the other way, you would see this. And you would see this, and then you would see me from here down. That's useless. I've enjoyed my time off. I've been off since the 20th. And just going from go. And then on the weekends to having a smile on your face. Doing things that I want to do when I want to do them. I can take a shower midday if I want to. I could take it at night. I had time. I still got up early. I didn't set my alarm. This was the first day I set my alarm. The rest of the days I got up at the same time. Still got stuff done. I made a robe. Didn't show that because it's not quilting related. And I want to keep that content kind of quilting related. I will make the robe again. I was at Ollie's, which is a discount store, and I bought a quilt book for $2.99. I think it had like 16 patterns in it. I didn't get the book for the quilt patterns. There was a robe, a kimono robe in there, and I got it for that. The directions were horrible, so I've learned that I know how to make a robe with no directions. I will remake it. The one I made was very lightweight. The next one I have a bunch of this flannel, so I will make it out of that flannel just to use it up. I bought like a 20-yard bolt, made my design wall, and then I'll be able to make a nice robe with it. Plenty of fabric for that. Let's see. I guess that's all. Today I'll be hand binding a quilt. I don't know if I'll finish it, but it sure will be nice. Because I have had a finish, you'll see a video shortly in a shorts reel of my vase embroidery flower quilt, the one with the purple back, the one that the slug juiced. You will get to see that. I have that one done, and then I have my scrappy baskets and tessellating tees and hearts. I don't remember what all's on that one. That one I'm binding now, and I'm really excited about getting this one to a point to where I can start sewing it together, because I'm really liking how this is going. The size is small, so I'll have to figure out a border for it to where it can be used. I gave away a bunch of quilts, so that happened at Christmas. I just brought in bags and bags full of quilts. Everybody that showed up at Christmas got a quilt. I got nothing in return. Some of you don't like to let go of your quilts. I've got so many of them that I'm not emotionally attached to them. So, there is something I did. Let me get that. There was a video, I'm going to say this past summer, where I had somebody 3D print a quilting template, and then I used it at the long arm, and I quilted up some cheater fabric. Well, I had this strip of fabric, and it had been quilted, and I didn't have any use for it. I trimmed it off, given that away, and then I had my quilted piece. Well, we bought a new printer, and the problem with the old printer is we use it enough, but not a lot, and it kind of gets forgotten about, and then it gets dusty. So the new printer, I have made a printer cover for, and this was a perfect project for that, where you could make like a toaster cover. It's kind of made very similar to a toaster cover, except it's bigger. This was practice for me, and no, I did not finish the raw edge. I'm gonna pink that and just leave it as it is, because this was gonna end up in the trash anyway. I could have made a bag out of it, but it's pretty cheater fabric. I mean, pretty for Valentine's Day, right? This worked out well. I love having projects that end up working out well like that, because I got that out of my stash. Somebody had given me both of those pieces of fabric. I knew I was going to use them. I just didn't know when or how, and I've turned it into something usable. And that, for me, usable is key for me. I use all the quilts. I have one that I have not used. They get put in rotation. So as I do a quilt, I finish it. It gets slipped into a pillowcase immediately after I do all my photo stuff and video stuff. And it sits on a shelf until the quilt top. And then I pull them out. They go hang for that. And at that point, that's when I start circulating them in after that comes back from that. If I've been dying to use one, I go ahead and I put it on the bed now. If I have one that's got reds, which the robe that I made was made from red fabric that was gifted to me. That fabric bled. Glad I pre-washed it, because now all of it that's in the stash, even the scraps, have been pre-washed, and it's not going to do that again. Because it's so hot in Texas, in the summertime, you do not have to run hot water in your shower or in your wash machine, which creates a problem because that hot water can cause your fabrics to bleed. So this is the time of year in November when the ones that I couldn't wash get put into circulation. So I picked out 2 and then kept the rest and gifted them away to family and told them, okay, now is your time. You need to wash them now. That way they don't bleed. And I gave away my triple Irish chain. Yeah, I've got that on the video, quilting that. That one was the big one. I gave away the spinning 9 patch. I gave away my patriotic, I guess that was just an Irish chain, postage stamp style. I'm going to be giving away my laundry basket quilts 2020, is it 2021? I'll be giving that one away. I've also will be giving away the sampler that I made on the YouTube last year. Those free patterns and stuff, I'll be giving that away. I tried to give away, I'm a tatter. I tat with tatting shuttles, and I had made lace, and that strip of lace I had 20 hours of my time in. I had made my own pillowcase and attached the lace to it, and it was all one color, it was green. And I tried to give that away, and I couldn't. I just couldn't give that away. So I'll probably bring that into circulation and start using it for myself. So I guess we're going to conclude the video. I've bantered and chattered on now for 37 minutes. I hope that I didn't bore you to death. I find quilting very interesting, and I hope you do too. And just because it may not be of interest to you now, maybe one day it will. We grow as quilters, and applique, I'm not interested in applique, but here I did one. It just is, it's an ebb and flow thing. So I would like to do an applique project. It would be a free pattern. The free pattern's out there by somebody else. I've done that once in a baby size quilt, and it turned out fantastic. It looked like a mirage. I may go ahead and do that on the channel. I don't know. Things are kind of up in the air. Because I'm dedicated so much of my time to this, I feel like I'm spinning my wheels because I want to sew other projects, but I have all this to contend with. And having this to contend with, if I don't do this, then I've offered this to you as a free pattern, then I'm not bringing it to you, and then you're not sewing it, and then I'm not sewing it, and so then I've created a UFO for you, and I don't want to do that. So I'm trying to keep the channel moving, but right now it's just probably going to be focused on this, and maybe occasionally another video. But I am really excited about the long arm video, the scraps, using all the scraps. I've been saving scraps. I'm hoping that I use every one of them, and it's going to be amazing. And I hope you get inspired. I hope I've inspired you this past year, and I hope that I continue to inspire you in the coming years. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and watching my videos. I love to hear the comments from you, and I so appreciate you. It took a long time to get to 1,000. Am I making any money? No. YouTube has set up all these barriers to where I would have to have like 3,900 watch hours, and I'm only halfway there. I have to have that all in 1 year. So, is my content great? No, I don't have all the camera tchotchke perfection. I don't have that. Am I going to spend money on it? Maybe one day, but right now I'm small beans, so probably not. I hope you found this video useful for storage. This is the time of year that a lot of quilters declutter, purge, straighten, tidy. This is the time of year people do that, so I thought I'd go ahead and get this video out there. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you.